Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Watchtower Examination. COVID-19 is on, social distancing is on. Everybody who used to be in studios, well not everybody, but so many persons who used to be in studio recording their programs, and I'm speaking now about secular programs, news items, commentaries on politics, etc., are now shooting from home. And it's kind of ironic because I'm used to shooting from home for the most part, but of course there are days when I choose to go outdoors and do the videos. But the social distancing has us so much on the inside that I thought I would just get out of the house today. I would actually take one of my chairs and I will sit under this chair and I will enjoy the outdoors as I present to you 4 videos that I plan to shoot today. The first 2 will be discussing money. The third will be the second in the series, Unlearn the Lies. And the 4th video I'm going to shoot today is going to be very controversial. I'm going to get a lot of thumbs down. It's going to spark a lot of negative comments, and I may lose some subscribers. But as I will explain when I do that 4th video today, I've decided to go there. I've decided to go down that road. And as I said, when I get to that video, I'll tell you why. I'm going to tell you a story about myself, a story that I've told before. But since not everyone watches every single video, some of you will be hearing it for the first time. And I'm going to ask you not to stray, not to jump to a conclusion as to what I'll be saying. Just stay with me. Don't stray. When I started this channel 5 years ago, I never envisioned this. I was just upset about something that happened as I visited my brother's Kingdom Hall. I had an encounter with some elders and I felt I wanted to give exposure to what went on. I was unemployed. I had time on my hand. In fact, that was the reason I had time on my hand, because when I'm working, I have no time for stuff like this. And so I decided to, use the time to expose the organization. As I said, never imagining that it will grow as it has grown. But I mentioned that to say that I was unemployed. When you're unemployed, you are broke. I never had any money. But I've had this thing about me where I do not believe in wasting money. And I tend not to go with the crowd. And so things that people do, the things that are popular, are not necessarily the things I do. I see myself as a practical guy who do things that make sense, or I try to do the things that make sense. And so I had this thing about phones. I live in a country that people call a developing country. Some say a third world country. We have a lot of people who are poor. I don't want to give the impression as though Jamaica is a poor country. No. We have a lot of very, very wealthy people here as well. It's a mixed bag. But I find it a little odd that a Jamaican would pick up $700, $800, $900 US to purchase a phone. Now, not to mention, when a phone gets to this country, the duties and taxes that are added, it's about 75% of the cost. So you're almost paying twice for the unit. And I tell myself, and don't stray, there's a reason I'm telling you all of this. I tell myself, what's the point of purchasing an expensive phone when you can buy a cheap phone that gives you the same features? All I want is to make calls. And so I would never buy anything like a Samsung or an iPhone. I choose to buy the brand that I supported was Blue. I just want to make calls. But I mentioned that to say that when I started the channel, I never had a phone with a decent camera. So I could not do my channel, I could not do my videos the way I saw other people doing it. I would see Mike and Kim and others, they go before a camera and they speak. I could not do that. I couldn't do that because I didn't have a decent phone with a decent camera. And so the YouTube channel that I admired the most when I just got onto this was Watchtower Comments. And you never saw the presenter. He just uses visual aids and he makes his presentations. And that's what I elected to do in the early days. But creating videos like that takes far more time. I'm going to ask you not to stray. Stay with me. Far more time. And to make a long story short, one day I decided that, you know what, it is taking me too much time to create videos when I'm using this method of visual aids, and maybe I need to get to the place where I just sit before a camera and talk. But I do not have a decent camera and I cannot afford one. And the idea came to me, people love what you do. I have a feeling that if you ask your viewers to donate to you getting equipment to change the format that you do your videos, they will support you. And so I decided to do something very reluctant. Very, very reluctantly I did it. But the need was great. I really wanted to improve the efficiency at which I was doing the videos. And so I swallowed my pride and I did a fundraiser. I did a temporary video explaining to my viewers that I want to raise $1,000 to purchase equipment and to cover the expensive cost when they get to me. It would cost about $1,000. I mentioned that, ladies and gentlemen, to say that I put on my website how much I raised. Every time someone sent me a donation, I updated the website to say so much has been raised and I need so much more. And as soon as I got to $1,000, the video was pulled, the information was stated at the website, the target reached. I said that to say I could have not put the information at the website. I could have just pretended that, hey, I need more money. I could have pretended and kept it going until I got $2,000 or $3,000. But common decency said that if you're asking for $1,000 to get equipment and people have been kind enough to support you and you get the $1,000, stop. And it is not because I am the epitome of honesty. It is just basic decency. And there are thousands, millions of people like me around the world who believe in basic decency. Now, you would have thought that the governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses would understand that basic decency. If you have been watching my channel, my videos for a long time, you would know that I'm a fan of other persons who do videos like these. Mike and Kim, XJW Analyzer, I think he's fantastic. XJW Critical Thinkers, oh boy, that couple, wonderful people. Great content. Lloyd Evans at the John CEDARS channel. I believe that he presents arguably the richest content in this activism thing. I just so love the precious, beautiful soul that Ali is. Ali's big toe. And the number of XJWs is increasing and the number of channels is increasing. And there is relatively, you could call, a new kid on the block, GOAT-like personality. He is a treat to watch. I love his channel because I love his accent. You know, some people tell me that they love my accent. I just so love his accent. I love his sense of humor. But I also love his content. And with his permission, sometimes I don't even ask permission because I know that, you know, the guys in this business, whatever you may call it, they're not fussy. You can use their content. I've never asked Lloyd Evans if I can use his clips. I just go ahead and do it, not fearing any copyright problems, because I believe we're all in this thing together. But I did ask GOATLIKE personality permission, and he said, go ahead, use all my videos for anything you want. Ladies and gentlemen, have a look at this.
Howdy heretics, I was just gonna go do a fast movie now because I'm angry at Watchtower. Normally I try to see all the good stuff Watchtower do, and that's because I don't want to get confirmation bias. If you're just looking for what is bad, you will sooner or later turn into a mindless drone that only sees what is bad. Like when you had confirmation bias before, when I was a witness, I would only see what is good. So I always try to find the nice things they do, but now I'm actually annoyed, to put it mildly, because as apostates we knew for about a month that there will be no Jehovah's Witness convention this year. And like I showed you last week, this is the announcement for April, reminders and the announcement, and it says that there will be no convention, and this will be read after the Sunday study this week. So the rank and file witnesses get to know what we know, what the apostates knew, 1 month later. However, if you go to this jwevent.org, the convention is still on. So this is misinformation. The good thing with the web page is you can update it really fast. So as soon as they know there will be no convention, they could just add a pop-up that say, well, put your plans on hold for now. There might not be a convention. And when they knew that there will not be a convention, they could say, cancel your plan. And they could update this on the 2nd. And I think that's fair, because they call themselves the faithful and discreet slave, and they have, repeat after me, food at the proper time. So imagine if you're a Jehovah's Witness and you have faith in Jehovah, aka Watchtower, and you say, this is jw.org, God's channel on earth. Sounds weird, but they believe that. And according to this, there will be a convention. You put find a location near you, and voila, here it says Friday, July the 3rd, 2020, Sunday. So if you have faith in God, so the government, Satan's wicked system, they say there will be no convention, there will be, but we as people with faith, we put our faith in Jehovah and our faith in the faithful and discreet slave.
So, whom do you trust? You fully trust in Jehovah, Jesus, and the faithful slave.
And according to Jehovah's channel, look the webpage jw.org, there will be a convention. So we walk in faith and not in what we see. Then I would buy a ticket. I would use my credit card. I would tell my family that yes, we have to trust in Jehovah, no matter what media reports. And this is sad. And if you think about this, like I say, I believe Watchtower is making a profit from their conventions. They're selling tickets. They even sell tickets to field service if you're international, to cover, quote unquote, cover the society's expenses.
The governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses knows that the convention is cancelled. The governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses only need to instruct the persons who manage their websites to post on the website that the convention is cancelled. Oh no. It must be done in a particular way. A letter must be sent to the elders, and it must be read at a particular time, because every witness must be advised at a particular time. And so even though you know that the thing is cancelled, you have Jehovah's Witnesses incurring expense, planning for this thing that you know in advance is cancelled, whatever happened to common decency. And then I watched the broadcast for April. I have not had a chance to do my commentary on it as yet. But as I watched it, and I watched this.
Every year, millions of people come together at our conventions to learn about Jehovah and encourage each other. Starting next month, Always Rejoice conventions will be held all over the earth. Jehovah's Witnesses will be actively inviting their neighbors, workmates, schoolmates, and all interested ones to join us.
I thought to myself, okay, the broadcast is shot in advance. So obviously, it is possible that they could have done this before the decision to cancel the convention. And so I will not berate the organization for still putting out the broadcast. There is something that YouTube has taken away from us that I'm so sorry that they did. This thing called annotations, where you could do a video, and if you see that something is wrong after you've published it, you could just put an annotation to advise your viewers. We no longer have that option with YouTube. But the people who create these videos have that option to put an annotation that the thing is cancelled. But they chose not to do it. They chose not to do it. And it is so funny that after I observed that, GOATLIKE personality put out a subsequent video.
They're telling us that there will be a convention, but this weekend we will get the announcement that there will not be. And, well, when I was a witness, I would always, be very apologetic and excuse them for whatever Watchtower did and say, well, this broadcasting has been prepared a long time in advance, and the current situation is rapidly unfolding. No, that's not true. I can show you what they could have done. They could have cut it off. But if that's too difficult and they don't want to lose their material, they could do this.
Every year, millions of people come together at our conventions to learn about Jehovah and encourage each other. Starting next month, Always Rejoice conventions will be held all over the earth. Jehovah's Witnesses will be actively inviting their neighbors, workmates, schoolmates, and all interested ones to join us. What effect can receiving an invitation have on a person's life? Let's watch the following report.
So did you see the message I put there? It took me 1 minute to do that. And they could easily have done that when they posted JW Broadcasting for April, because they knew there will be no convention. But they say that the congregants, the rank and file Jehovah's Witnesses, the brothers, brothers and sisters they're supposed to love and give their life to, we're allowed to not give them true information. Well, that's one thing, but they're actually giving them the wrong information. And why am I getting angry of this? Is it because I'm a bitter and angry apostate? Nah, maybe a little. But when I was a Jehovah's Witness, we would always read stories about, well, there was a poor family in Africa and they sold their cow to go to the convention. Okay, let's assume that all these stories were true. They might be true. So imagine now a hard-working couple with a lot of children, and they have been planning to go to the convention, and they've been saving, and they plan, we're going to sell the cow, and we're going to go to convention. And now due to the situation, things have changed for them. Maybe they lost their job, stuff happened, and when they told no one's interested in buying the cow, and some neighbor wants to take advantage of the situation and offer them an extremely low price. So the family don't know what to do. The husband and wife talk together, they pray, and they say, well, where can we find food in the proper time? Where can we find food in the proper time? So they go to jw.org, they find, and it says, there will be a convention. And they go to JW Broadcasting and watch it, and it says there will be a convention. And they say, well, we have to put our faith in God. God knows what is going to happen. This is food in proper time.
Boy, it's like nobody says it like this guy. But there was something else in that broadcast. Have a look at this.
You're far too precious to Jehovah for him to forget you. The account of the widow at Luke chapter 21 can assure you that although circumstances may affect what you can contribute to Jehovah, he notices and treasures each act you do for him, especially when you do it in the face of difficult circumstances. He remembers, and he will reward even the smallest contribution given in support of his kingdom. And what beautiful modern-day examples we have in the organization of brothers and sisters who have proven their loyalty to Jehovah and are precious to him, like the example of Sister Pina.
There is a moral to the story that Jesus told. Jesus was making the point that the person who gives out of her scarcity is giving more than the person who gives out of his abundance. It is really, in effect, a much bigger gift because it takes a bigger sacrifice. That is the motive. That is the, what you call it, I'm trying to remember a phrase. The moral, that's the moral of the story. The Watchtower chooses to give you a different moral of the story. The message at the Watchtower, the spin that the organization is putting on the story of what people call the widow's mite, is that Jehovah cares about you. Jehovah loves it when you give. The point that the Watchtower is very subtly bringing forward to Jehovah's Witnesses in this time when so many persons in this crisis will be losing their jobs, so many persons will be placed in a similar financial position as the widow. The subtle message is, even in all of that, donate, donate, donate. All about the money. Ladies and gentlemen, I told my story for two reasons. Not to mention the matter of common decency. Not to sell you on the idea that I'm an honest, decent guy. But I also wanted to make the point that I have no problem in and of itself in non-charitable, non-profit organizations collecting donations. The Watchtower is a religious organization. There is nothing wrong with the organization collecting donations. This channel would never have been what it is today had it not been for the persons who donate to me. I needed it. Couldn't have purchased a camera without it. So the issue I have is not that an organization is collecting donations. It is not even the fact that they place an emphasis on the donations, because at some point every organization is going to put some effort into raising funds. My problem is that the organization seems to be taking this thing a little bit too far. The love of money seems to be a root of evil with the Watchtower organization. It is wrong for an organization to place so much effort, so much emphasis on collecting money at the very same time when it is telling its adherents about how wrong it is for them to take jobs that will enable them to support their families. It is wrong. And speaking of Lloyd Evans, he did a video that I would encourage all of you to watch on righteous riches. It's all about the money. There is too much emphasis, there's too much effort on the part of this organization to raise money. And they are so subtle, they are so crafty in what they do. Someone sent me a gift, and I want to say thank you, my brother, for sending me that email, and all he put in the topic was the new Elders Manual. I have my hand on the new Elders Manual. Shepherding the flock. Would you like to hear what is the very first instruction that the Watchtower gives to elders who are going to be shepherding the flock? First you had the title pages. Then came this message. This publication is not for sale. It is provided as part of a worldwide Bible educational work supported by voluntary donations. To make a donation, please visit donate.jw.org. This time the organization is not even subtle about it. The very first thing that elders are being told is how to make a donation. Not even subtle anymore. And there is something interesting too about it. Another thing that is interesting about it. I used to go to tv.jw.org. If you enter that domain in your browser window now, you will be redirected to jw.org. That is to say, in a little while, the subdomain tv.jw.org will no longer exist. But the subdomain donations.jw.org is quite there. And when I click on donations.jw.org, do you know what I see? I see something that you will not exactly see if you are not, like me, from Jamaica. The first thing I see is Jamaica, so that the website is actually country specific. So naturally the instructions and information for Jamaicans will be different from what is there for persons from the United States or Cuba or wherever, whichever country you're in. And then you have the different things that you can donate to. The worldwide work, your regional convention, branch construction, world headquarters, your congregation. So many different things that you can make your donations to. And I want you to look at the fourth option for me, world headquarters, audio, video construction. And that is what the next video will be about. As I said, nothing wrong with the Watchtower accepting donations, nothing wrong with the Watchtower even putting some effort into instructing people how to do it. But again, see if you can find that video by John CEDARS' channel, Unrighteous Riches. See how dishonest, how unethical, how conniving this organization is when it comes on to making money. And I cannot, I love to focus on the things that are factual and I don't want to speculate. So I cannot factually tell you that the number one thing that the organization is about is money. I don't know that. Hard to speculate. But it will be very, very hard to convince me that money is not one of the top things on the Watchtower's agenda. And if that is one of the top things, you are not a true, genuine organization that is seeking to seek and to save the lost. You are not. For you, basically, it is let's make some money first. Thanks for watching. Do join me in the next video. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, remember to press that like button. I invite you to subscribe to the channel. I am also inviting you to subscribe to my other channel, Things Jamaican, that will help to keep this channel going. The links are in the description below. Thanks again. Do come again. Have yourself a wonderful day.
May the grace of the Lord Jesus Christ and the love of God and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with you all.